Go now to DryerBuzz.com and follow @DryerBuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.
And then I need you to come on in and say good morning. Good morning, guys. I know there's something different about my voice. Spent all day yesterday fighting, I don't know if it was just an allergy or if it's a summer cold, but it's got me, and man, it knocked me out. So, but still, I can wake up this morning, got the breath of life and a new day, and let's go ahead and get it started. I opened my journal and turned to a blank page as I rubbed the sleep from my eye. You know, these are my first thoughts of the morning. I literally like roll over and get this done because this is what I want to do. My periodical that I want to go from is way over there. So, and I don't feel like letting you, here we go, stretch, trying to reach it. But I do want it because it is an inspiration for some of my conversations. So, sorry for the noise, but I just had to reach over and grab it. We've been talking about Book 2. This is How to Get Out of Bed, Book 2. Book 1, if you are just now discovering this, there's a whole 90 episode series out there on various platforms. Wherever you're seeing this one, you can literally go into the archive, scroll back, left, swipe left, right, any of that. Go to the bio, and you're going to find that we've been doing this now probably, well, literally, not probably, but literally for the past maybe 100 days at this point. This could be the 100th episode. I don't know. All I know is, and it's not going to be, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know. Because this one hasn't been as consistent as the other one. In fact, the other one it was divine order. It was divine ordered steps. It was supposed to happen that way. And then I said, okay, well, this has to be, it was like Forrest Gump, all that running, and then he stopped. He said, okay, I'm going home now. That's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm tired. And then I realized, wait, has become such a part of life that when I wake up, my body, my household, my environment, everything was conducive to it. And then I said, well, and two, it was such a motivation and inspiration for me. I said, let me just go ahead and continue to do it. And then everybody around me was like, you kind of like doing that thing. Why don't you go back to it? You're kind of in the way right now is basically what they said. Don't you have to podcast? And I was like, you know what? Whatever, y'all. Let me do that. So, but this one we try, unless we've got something really, really good to talk about, we just try to take a few good minutes. It's not as much as a two-way conversation as book 1 was. I try to get it in, get it done, and stay within at least a little less than 30 minutes. Because I have so much other content that I want you guys to go out and enjoy. Number 1, as you see on the screen, if you're in the live environment, or in the description if you're in the podcast, you will see DryerBuzz.com. If you go to DryerBuzz.com, you will join people that have done that for the past 17 years. And there are people who say, man, I've been following you forever. And I'm like, really? And they remind me of some things that we've done over the years. And I'm like, wow, I wish I could still do that. I wish I could remember how I did that. I wish I could be as motivated as I was, but I think I still am. And I think it's coming back. And now, like many, I'm coming out of a fog of, some trauma, some different things of that nature. Anxiety, sorry, I didn't push my button there with the morning sniffles. And so I am trying to remember all of the things I did. One thing I will tell you I am utterly excited about and to talk about is I'm going to a film festival here this week. I believe it's this week. I believe it starts this week. I believe that's opening night. I have to look at the calendar and see where we are on the calendar. But I think it starts this week, and I'm excited about that because each year, if you don't go to film festivals basically, one, you get to screen feature full length features. You get to watch the movies that will soon be on screen. You get to watch them with everybody in the movie, everybody behind the movie, everybody behind every camera, the directors, the stars, celebrities. And so there's an opening night and a red carpet alert. And that, of course, Atlanta is the new Hollywood. So, oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all. So everybody is literally headed down for this one. One is the 10th anniversary of this film festival. So what you know about Atlanta being Hollywood now, these are some of the film festivals I'm talking about. Trying to remember. Bronze Lens, because there's 3 of them that's coming. But Bronze Lens, shout out to Bronze Lens, because they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary. So what you know about Atlanta and Hollywood now, there are several film festivals that have really branded Atlanta as the greatest place to make a movie, and that is why Atlanta is the Hollywood it is now. See, so oftentimes, guys, let's talk Iceberg. I want to write this down. Can I write down Iceberg? I'm going to write down Iceberg, because a lot of times what you only see is what's on the surface, and you don't realize what's going on underneath. You say, man, those Hollywood production companies went to Atlanta and made Atlanta Hollywood. No, those Hollywood production companies came here because individuals very much like yourself decided, this is what I want my city to be. These are the opportunities I want to bring to my city. And there's so much work that goes on before you even begin to see. Just like people upset thinking Jay-Z walked into the NFL the other day and sat down, and come to find out these things have been going on for years, right? Conversations with he and Kaepernick, conversations with he and the NFL. NFL said last year, listen, somebody come with something, because we want to put, quote unquote, the focus back on football. Focus back on football. We don't want to deal with this. Somebody come to us and tell us what should be our position. What should we allow? Because they're the owners, right? What should we allow? How should we allow players to express themselves? And a number of individuals, entities, companies, and so forth went and consulted, negotiated, analyzed a lot of people. They even followed a bunch of people and read a bunch of people's Twitters and different things like that. And now you see the iceberg rising up out of the water, and either the NFL is going to hit it like the Titanic and sunk, okay? Or they have time to divert, right? Because we got all this technology now. You got all this technology, you got all this data now. They can literally abort or divert or detour themselves away from this iceberg, which is literally caring. The iceberg is caring about people. Can we just simply care about? Can we live in? Care about someone? I'm gonna write that down. Care about. Understand. I'm writing down some word clouds. Okay, history. Because an iceberg builds up over time. It starts to freeze and freeze and freeze and freeze and freeze, and it continues to freeze and freeze and freeze, right? And so all of that happens. Is that Jada on? I think that's Jada on there on television. So the iceberg begins to freeze until it gets to the point that is Jada. I have to come and catch that segment. Then it begins to rise. It doesn't build on top of the water and then build under the water. No, come on. We got to figure. The thing about us, y'all, we've got to figure this out, because where particular attention needs to be played. Remember yesterday we talked about paid and we talked about played, right? The particular attention needs to be paid. What was I saying? The particular attention needs to be paid at this point to the audience, right? Because it's the audience that doesn't have any demands. Because remember, people have forever been talking about, how we still don't know how it became. I still don't understand how it became an NFL issue in the first place. We know that there was, and this is what happened, media, and write this down if you need to, MEDIA, manipulate emotions, disseminating information, abstract. So a particular piece of information, abstract, was put out there of Colin Kaepernick, even though he was one of many players who had decided, I need to observe something in my profession so that I can be at peace with what goes on with where I work. And with where he worked on the gridiron, there is particular homage in a ritual that is done that perpetuates this country being fair. And he goes, no, it's not. So he, within himself, not with the body of culture, decided, I'm going to act a certain way. a particular photographer or somebody called it out, they decided they would disseminate this piece of information to manipulate the emotions in abstract, and then therefore became, oh, he's part of this movement that was going on. And there were others. I don't know about y'all, but I've been in America all my life, and there have always been people who had particular grievances. Let me grab something to drink. Particular grievances. Oh, let's write that down. Iceberg, grievance. You have particular grievances, and for whatever their chosen reasons, did not participate in rituals by which we pledge allegiance to our country. Either it was the allegiance, the national anthem. There are other things that are done for religious reasons, and other things cultural, and so forth and so on. Every ethnicity has those things by which they participate and do not participate in. But in this country and in several countries that deal with a race construct, you can disseminate abstract information and have other people become entirely ignorant for others, and create a bias and a prejudice against other people. We need to deal with why those people want to remain ignorant to these things. Okay, so now here we come with just a simple entertainment on a Sunday afternoon, by and large. On a Sunday afternoon, these kinds of lines of drawing, and people still wanted to remain ignorant about the fact that certain people, never mind the fact that half of them didn't even pause for the national anthem because they were so in line trying to figure out if they could buy, over there fussing about because they can't buy 4 beers instead of the required 2. You know, they had to, while you over here trying to say we need to go meet with the owners so that these people can pay the absolute homage, the greatest homage in the world, to a flag, which is for a grown ass man to fall on his knee to kneel. You so offended by that. But this fool over here, we got to go to the owners because this fool over here wants to be able to buy 4 beers as opposed to 1 at a time. Right? Those are the 2 issues that's got to be talked about at the owners meeting. They want to recognize the fact that people are dying. This one wants to get drunk as hell. Okay? Yeah. That's the severity of the comparison of life in America, right? So at the same time, they got to, in the same press conferences and press releases, and they got to follow each other. A grown-ass man should be able, and first of all, let me tell you about Kaepernick, see, because y'all so ignorant on this stuff. First of all, if you go and Google it, you can't Google Kaepernick, because apparently Kaepernick, when he took his deal and didn't even discuss that with everybody, in his deal, I heard yesterday that they were supposed to swipe the internet of all search history on the fact that he protested against the NFL. Somebody go and check, because I think they having to continue. Some people out there now having to continuously add that back because they have tools in place that will wipe that, so that when you go looking up the NFL, it skips all over the fact that their biggest grievance is against black people wanting to stop death. But and it's titled Kaepernick, but that's really what it is. Right? And they continue to hire these police. This is the problem right here. I don't know if Jay-Z had it in a deal, because my grievance is you continue to hire the same police who spend their weeks and days murdering people. Now I understand you hired some nice off-duty cops. I know there's some nice ones out there, because I have to tell myself, it has not been my experience. I have not been accosted by a police officer in that manner. However, there are several people that I know that have, and there are those that are no longer here because of the aggression that they show only to black and brown people, and not to those who commit mass murder that looks like them. That has been my experience. Okay, so now nobody has said to the police force that y'all need to stop hiring off-duty police cops, and y'all damn sure need to stop hiring on-duty police cops, because the NFL has enough money to create its own police force. I hope that was in the deal, because I don't want to come. I'm not coming to a game where I have to walk by one that is on American tax, on the American tax dollars, particularly those that are on the Georgia, Atlanta, Fulton County, DeKalb County, Douglas County, any of those counties. Okay, that's over there working off duty, the sheriff's department. I don't want to walk by off duty officers. In fact, that's not new for me. I don't entertain myself where I have to be over-policed and underprotected. I don't do it. Write that down. Over-policed and underprotected. I hate this is going to be the word cloud, but I'm just going to tell you what's going on. Over-policed I got to stop underprotected so I can go back, right? Because as a black female protected, that has been my experience. Has been my experience that I am just trying to entertain myself. Whether I'm trying to go out and grab a drink at the bar, because I ain't trying to buy five. I ain't running around here with no 2 and 3, 4, 5 DUIs to get another chance to go out and maim, kill, or murder again. That ain't people. My uh, complexion don't get a chance to do that. Okay, but so low and so I need to know if the deal is for the NFL to create their own police force that they will train one and um and put in the psychological apparatuses, apps, psychological app that when they show up for work, they must pass with a certain score that lets people know that they will not approach individuals because there's a bunch of drunk individuals up there apparently with certain types of no, because they're not going to approach the drunk individuals. Okay, they're going to approach the sober, those of great sobriety, those of great innocence, right? So I need for the NFL to create their own police force. I need y'all to police your own gates. I don't want no off-duty cops out there. I don't want no sheriffs out there because I've had a couple instances. This has been my experience. Okay, I was approaching the entertainment zone. And in approaching the entertainment zone, because they put all these officers out there to change up the traffic patterns. There was one during one of the playoffs, one of those games we were hosting, and this one right here, he had true PTSD. He was older guy, probably had been to numb. I'm just saying. I think he was. This one was maybe one of the presidents or vice presidents or whoever was coming. He had created such chaos in one of the drop-off turnaround points right over by the World Congress Center. This officer, older white gentleman, definitely military. He was not an off-duty cop. He was part of, I guess, Homeland Security or whatever. I don't know. But he had created such chaos out there yelling and screaming at people because they didn't stop on the dime. And it was so much chaos. Everybody was so absolutely confused. And it was people were coming from everywhere, jumping in and out of cars, and he was just going crazy and yelling at people. Now, mind you, he wasn't yelling at the people who love complexion. What is the protection of complexion? And he comes and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, it displaced hostility. See, that's the part that displaced hostility, and I ain't the one. I'm just telling you, because I'm gonna cite the obvious. Displaced hostility, right? Write that down. Because he caught him. I watched him as a white female entirely disobey all his orders. I watched him, whatever this mechanism they got, y'all got, whomever got. Whatever mechanism there is in place in that situation, because that's the part we ain't figured out yet, and myself and some others are working on. Caught himself and went to redirect, and I'm watching him try to redirect that hostility, right, and go and put it off on somebody else. See, y'all are watching one thing, we watching another. I'm trying to see it all. Let me take a sip. That's that iceberg. That's that iceberg because it's real. It's our reality. And especially in a particular point in place, because some people think that people are extra turned because of the president, but I know people have been turned. What's really turned is because of the president, because the president, it's not people are turned because of the president. It's because the president now, with his ignorant self, is so totally under the microscope is that we're really able to now define it. Because the president is a person, all of his actions has to be is captured. It's giving us the data to see that, oh, this is what this is. Ain't nobody extra turned because of the president. They've been turned. I live in Atlanta. I've been brown skinned all my life. Okay. I self-identify, DNA identify as black. Okay. So we've been knowing all of this stuff. What's the extra turn part is the pushback. Okay, because now you have a reason. You know where it's coming from. You know how it's coming from. Here's a man, could be global, could be well beyond the diversity. And he's just ignorant. He's like, he's not going to let intelligence into his mind, thought, body. The man says stuff, and I'm like, does he ever look in the mirror? Because it's like everything that he does not like about himself, he projects on others. Anyway, and that happens with us, right? Somebody's projecting something on you. You better let it bounce off, because it's really about them. Because the one thing a person can point out on you is the one thing they don't like about themselves, or that thing that is familiar to themselves or familiar to something. Because if it's unfamiliar, you can't do nothing but be shocked by it. Like, wow, what is that? What is that? So all of these things, we're talking about iceberg. What's the iceberg in your life? What's the iceberg that's keeping you from getting out of bed as we get to 20 minutes into this? What's that? There's a question, because we're talking about how to get out of bed, because all this stuff going on has somebody over there can't get out of bed. Sometimes it's me. At least 3 out of 9 days, it's me, because this is how I have to wake up processing stuff before I go into my day. And I'm not the only one. Everybody else is just a little bit better at suppressing it. I am at a point in life, my steps and my days and my breaths of life are ordained in a way where I don't have to wake up and suppress it. So you already at work, you in your cubicle, you in your corner office, you get ready to head into that meeting, you've already put on your mask, you've already been able to suppress it. You can't wait till you go on your break so you can jump online and scroll your timeline and talk about it. I got a call yesterday evening about yesterday's podcast. Right? That's why I put this stuff out there. That's why my days are the way they are. Can you imagine if I had to be somewhere 2 hours ago and this is my thoughts of the morning and I got to suppress this? And normally my day includes going to sit down with public safety. Hell, I just wanted to go to the Ace Hardware the other day and to get something for freaking fruit flies. Who was in line in front of me? My mayor. Right? And she's looking like, oh, Lord, here comes the blog. And I don't live in Atlanta, so not that mayor. Let me just say that. I live outside Atlanta, that mayor. And she's like, please don't let her say I ain't saying nobody's name, because I'm not a name dropper. I'm just saying, I got fruit flies because all of y'all, let me tell y'all, blogging about food. Let me tell y'all about these food bloggers. I'm going to come back. Remind me, somebody come back to the Petty Betty's list. Petty Betty, remind me. Okay. So, first of all, food bloggers, they don't eat. Because I done ate everything I have cooked. I have eaten everything I have eaten. And now I got to go to the gym. Okay. I came home and homemade everything. Let me tell you something. Buying all this organic stuff, you got to have such a rotation on this organic food that if you don't, see, real food, like that picture that y'all sharing about the family with the frog and the salad, that means that's some good salad. You better hope you buy a salad that's got a frog in, that the frog has been eating on the salad. Because otherwise, if you don't, it ain't real. So you better hope that your food does spoil. So come to find out that all this whole organic and all this other food that I'm buying don't have any preservatives in it. So you cannot keep it forever. You can't put it in the vegetable bin and just leave it there. That tomato and all that stuff ain't gonna last 6 months like some of this stuff do. It don't last but literally a couple days. A real loaf of bread, it goes bad in a day and a half. I'm just saying, this stuff don't have no preservatives in it, okay? So I sit there and cut up all them vegetables in that. Remember, you saw me on that live stream, put that vegetable in that bag. Well, I left the bag on the counter, and then I got busy for a day and a half to 2 days. I come back, what is it? Flies. Real food goes bad. See, not one of these food bloggers out there have talked to us about this style. So you out there, y'all out there like me watching all these YouTubes and gonna cook this, gonna cook that and all that kind of stuff. Honey, I had to do a YouTube. Listen, y'all, this is how you clean your kitchen. You got to take everything off the counter, wipe everything down. You got to make sure the trash goes out twice a day. Cooking organic and real. We're talking people who cook organic. Y'all cooking from the freezer still, in the pantry and the canned goods and all. Y'all got nothing to worry about. Because y'all already got all the pesticides and all the other stuff. But I'm sitting here sipping on real cranberry juice, real orange juice, all this goodness. Because I've been trying to do the freaking detox, y'all. Trying to do the freaking detox. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, where we going back to? Where we going? I said remind me to go back to something. What was it? Talking about the iceberg, y'all. We're talking about the iceberg. I don't know what I said. Somebody typing it in, but y'all know I can't see the comments. But anyway, let me see, because we're right at about 25, and I got to jump off here because I got to head out. But we're talking about the iceberg. And basically what we're talking about with how to get out of bed is people really want to know how to wake up and how are people, because they're looking at you and they're thinking that you got it going on because you done got up and went into your day. People are looking at us trying to figure out how are you able to, how are you processing? And for the most part, most of us are not processing. We're just suppressing. Look at Brian McKnight and his family out there. They've been suppressing all this time. Brian McKnight talking about them children 30 and 27. Okay, you don't get 30 and 27 with that kind of pain unless it's been lifelong. Unless you've been, he talked about, he gave them this and gave them that. But probably you should have told them how you were either processing or you were suppressing. Right? Because men, for the particular part, walk around thinking, well, I survived and you should. That's not how it works. Because what happens is, especially in the offsprings, it's a copy of a copy of a copy. So yeah, they might have your DNA, but at the same time, they don't understand what you've been suppressing and what you're coming through, because see, all that you are suppressing, it still may be rising up in them, because DNA is one thing, experiences is another. Add those two together, they got your DNA and they got your experiences. They got your experiences whether you think you hid it or you suppress it, they never saw it, they still process it, because one thing children will do, our offsprings will do, I'm going to stop calling them children. One thing our offsprings will do, they will process things they never, ever, ever ask you. We've done it, podcast after podcast, we've done radio shows, we've done panels, and we've asked people who become adults with issues. And we asked them, did you ever ask? And not one person yet has said, yeah, I asked my mom. I had a friend who was on here, like everybody else, on our live, talking about what had going on in his life. And I'm like, where's your mom? And I was like, have you ever asked your mom? And he says, no, because he don't. Well, he said, no, because it won't go well. The conversation won't go well. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but you can't go forward without that. It's not going to go well. Yes, she's going to get mad because it's a hurtful thing for her. She might not have handled it the best way you needed her to handle it, but you were something new and different to her as well. But you got to ask. You got to go back. Why did this happen? How did this happen? Because those are your questions, and asking everybody else who's also suppressing it, who's also not asking, you're never going to get an answer. You're going to get, even if you get somebody else's answer, it still may not be your answer. It could be, and it might be culturally, it might be a thing that just happened during that decade, during that century, right? Because we're all living with this stuff. Just thank God you know Yolanda, and Yolanda don't have to get up and suppress it all. She can be over there. Because if I wasn't talking to y'all, I'd be sitting right here talking to myself. Thank God for something called a podcast. Push the button, girl, have that conversation. I'm sitting here trying to freaking detox. I'm drinking some juice, and the detox, instead of it coming through the skin like it's supposed to, it's coming out my mouth. Like I'm talking. I don't mean like I'm, not like that. And I'm detoxing because the biggest liars on the planet are the food bloggers. They don't tell you eating all this stuff has such a, not an adverse effect, but a wonderful effect that you start looking like you should start carrying around this food with you. It goes to your hips, it weighs your belly, right? And you got to detox it, especially when you go making a meat pie and a triple mac and cheese. Like I'm getting ready to do the buffalo mac that people keep posting. I think we're gonna do the buffalo mac. I don't know what we're cooking this. I smell some breakfast right now. At about 28 into, we're going to get out about 30. But we create a word cloud with each of these guys, and it's called How to Get Out of Bed. And if you feel like you would like more, just go to DryerBuzz.com, put your email address in there. Guess what? You're going to get a summary at the end of the week with all of them in there, because this is a daily podcast. If I'm blessed with a day, you get a podcast. Other podcasts that I produce is one called Leading Women, which is actually going to happen tomorrow. And it's going to be altogether really interesting. One of my my co-host, Angela Stalker, is she has gone into the history of her name, y'all. She has gone down a wormhole so serious, because Angela, first of all, her name being Angela, and if you know, there's something about the Angelas of the world. There's something about the Angelas of the world, and she is going down a wormhole. Come to find out, even though she is a white female, that there is an Angela that was one of the first, if not the first, people to be enslaved in America. It's either given the name Angela, because I guarantee she didn't come from Africa with the name Angela. And then hell, my history been wiped away from me, so I don't know if Angela is an African name. But we're gonna find out, because Angela has gone down the wormhole because mainstream media, because black media is missing the renaissance of the 400 years of the recognizing that America is one of the cruelest places on the planet, and with other countries enslaved people kidnapped from their homelands because of the warring of the tribes that were going on in their homelands, and bodies were traded. Able, brilliant bodies were traded in a warring of the tribes, and they became slaves throughout the continent, throughout the world. Some on each continent. And so Angela has gone down this wormhole. She's trying to pull me down there with it. I'm like, Angela, hold on, girl. Okay. You work on that, but I'm working on the other side. So while she's working on that, I'm over here working on the aggression of white males. Like, really? That's what we're doing. So we're talking about it because it comes up. The ones who are reacting to all of this. Oh, y'all, here comes a sausage and an egg sandwich. So y'all know finna go. So what's happening is women who have to continuously suppress this, because we have to live in a world with men who are continuously suppressing how America started, and where America is being, and where America is going, and where America is at. That what does this mean to women, and what does it particularly mean to those who are leading women? So on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch us in a live environment, or you can catch the podcast. It's called Leading Women Podcast, where we have conversation with those who are leading women, who are women leaders, and those who are literally leading women each and every day in our democracy. And so we're going to talk. We have a great conversation about that. That's happening on Tuesday. On Saturday, I also have the podcast called Buzz It or Bash It, where we go back and things that made us blog and troll and scroll all week long, and kind of recap the topics of the week that made us blog. If you'd like to jump on live with any of these podcasts, or give me a segment and so forth, I'm opening that back up as we are getting ready to finalize the editorial schedule for 2020. We got to get that ready, because as soon as the temperature drops and we get that nice fall temperature coming in, it's going to be budget season, and I'm going to be pitching our podcast for our support for next year, y'all. 2020 is not so far off away. It's literally months away now. So hopefully your 2020 plan is done, and you're now getting ready to work on your 2025. Looking at the word cloud, we talked about Iceberg. We're talking about, I'm going to write down masking. I didn't write down suppression. What was the other one? Aggression. Because aggression comes from suppression. Did y'all know that? Aggression is basically that person, somebody suppressing the truth, and what you are reminding them of a truth that they don't want to rise up in them. So therefore that aggression plays out on you, and then you got to suppress it, and then the other person wants to know. You walk around as a person suppressing everything, and everybody go like, what's wrong with, they don't want to know what's wrong with you. Because I'm suppressing all this aggression of another person, right? And you want to know what's wrong with me. Well, what you should do is stop suppressing and point out that aggression. Okay? So that you can do what? Become yourself, your true self. That's what this is about. I'm going off into my day having let all this out. All of this just came out of me. I get to see and enjoy my breakfast and go into my day. I'm just saying. I don't know about y'all. Now, if you somewhere going, amen, type that in a comment. If you somewhere listening to this as a replay, type that in a comment. If you just needed to hear this, you had to put your headphones on, but at least let the truth of you be somewhere in the picture of your day. At least even if the truth of you have to be the larger body of that iceberg hidden under that water, that's okay. At least hold your head up enough high so that you're not drowning, so that you can at least catch some of that good air, that good top coat of that iceberg. You ever notice that? How beautiful that iceberg. People take cruises, y'all, and tours, and an iceberg is a destination. And everybody's trying to get to you, and they can't get to you because the bottom of that iceberg is keeping them at a distance. So they can't get so close up. That's you, in either your aggression or your suppression. Somebody try to come and give you, ever seen somebody try to come and give you a hug and they can't bring it on in? You ever try to get to somebody, you just can't get to them like they're over there? That's that iceberg. All that stuff that's under the water you can't see. And what you see on top of the water, for the most part, for the most of us, is just us trying to hold our head up just enough to catch a breath, right? Just enough to keep from drowning. I'm trying to tell you how to come on up out that water. I'm trying to tell you how to come on. Let more of you be shown. Let more of you become beautiful. Enjoy more of yourself. I'm just trying to get you to get out of bed. I'm just trying to get you to enjoy, to let more of yourself be seen. Just you. I ain't trying to let everybody else enjoy you as much as I'm trying to get you to enjoy yourself. I just went through that. The trauma that I had, it was pulling me under. It was rolling me over. It was breaking off pieces of me. And I'm trying to hold myself together. And there are people now, thanks to the fact that I just wanted to be a little truthful, a little honest, a little transparent. There are people every day approaching and going through what I've been through. Well, one of the reasons I was able to do it, because I was able to watch another friend who was truthful, honest, and transparent. And I watched her and what she was doing. And she was leaving those breadcrumbs and she was sharing it. And I'm like, whoa, because that day is coming. That day is coming. There's somebody else now very close to me going through the same thing. And they're like, man, I remember you said this and I remember you said that, right? Everybody's going through this. Live long enough. You guess what? Can I tell y'all something? We start off as icebergs. We start out the very first day. People start getting you to suppress. Toddlers, think about it. How many times have you told a child, don't say that, don't do this, don't do that? You start building that iceberg, you start covering it up. You start drowning them. We start drowning each other. You get in a relationship, you start drowning each other. Because you don't know how to stay above the water, right? It's like, we got to suppress this, and then you start having aggression against each other. Then you get to the point where, oh, now you're 20 years in and you're 30 years in and you're 50. You're like, oh, well, clearly, nothing better. We ain't going nowhere, and you got to search a little harder to find things to celebrate because you've been suppressing too much. You done listen, come on up out of there. Come on up out of there, y'all. Let a little bit more be shown, There's a way to do, you know what it is? Relax. I've had a drowning experience. I say it every day. It's the one thing I say all the time. Because the one thing I have to remember from that drowning experience, the one thing that saved me, where I saved myself, because the lifeguard was like, I'm not going in after her. Okay? But the one thing that saved me was I had to stop and just relax. The moment I stopped and relaxed, there was a calm that went about me. There was a calm that went about the roaring waves. In that moment of relaxing, whereas I thought if I relaxed, it meant giving up. But when I began to relax, it created such a buoyancy, if that's the word. Look it up and tell me if I'm wrong. It created such a buoyancy when I relaxed. I began to float. When I relaxed, that wave, instead of taking me out, started taking me in, bringing me in. It literally carried me back to the shore when I relaxed. I'm going to hit this button. I'm going to ask you to relax. Now, listen, I am not a therapist. I'm not trying to play one on live stream. I do have several of which I can refer you to. I do have several who listen and follow. Okay? I do podcasts with them so that I can get some free therapy. And I will connect them. In fact, if you are available to anyone that have heard this podcast that might be under the form of suppression, that might be facing some aggression, please tag yourself. Please share this podcast and let them know you are available. Because all I'm going to do is get through this day and come back, good Lord willing, and do it again on tomorrow. And I would not be able to do that, you guys, if I did have some amazing support. One of the ways that I do keep my sanity, guys, is I luxuriate in something called natural soap. Now, I told y'all I'm trying to get everything natural up in here. And for the past 3 years, we have been bathing. One of the reasons we have the most beautiful skin, looking like we are moisturized and glistening, is because we use natural soap by Zakia. Even when we are traveling, we order the travel size natural soap by Zakia. So when you go off to the Airbnbs and the hotels, or you're going from country and continent and you can't bring all those preservatives in, they like, you need to throw that away. You need to throw that away. Not your natural soap. They're going to be like, where'd you get this beautiful stuff from? Even if you need the travel size, go over and get the travel size. So that way you can take your favorite fragrances with you. And we're talking about even natural fragrances. Y'all know I love lemon. I got luscious lemon whipped soap over here. Whipped up by an artisan handmade soap maker. Natural soap by Zakia, okay? I from head to toe. I got whipped soap, I got crumble soap, I got crumble bubble bath. I got a massage candle. Y'all over there burning each other with hot wax. Do you know there is a massage candle that when you melt it, it turns to a luscious oil? And then you pour that warmed, not hot, warmed oil on each other if you must. If you got somebody, right? Or even if you come home, you got the achy legs and all that. Light that candle and then take that, pour a little bit of that warm oil and go ahead and massage his legs and go rest his leg and then chill. Let me tell you about this is no claim to, this is old wives' tale. They said if you have issues with your legs, the old wives' tale said, ready? Put your soap on the bed and it will stop your night pain. Okay. Anyway. All right. So could not podcast without natural soap. Could not podcast without natural soap by Zakia. Use your discount code DryerBuzz. Use your discount code DryerBuzz when you go to natural soap by Zakia. All right. I got to get ready to head out of here. My sandwiches, my breakfast is getting cold. Quickly, your iceberg. Okay. Find out, what do you really care about? What do you really understand? What's really been your history? What is your real grievance? Talk about that so you can stop transferring that to something else, okay? What I got? Over police, underprotected, displaced, hostility. This is really about this hostility. Masking. We out here masking this hostility and something else. Y'all talking about Jay-Z and Cap, but you're really masking hostility because you're suppressing the aggression yourself. You are suppressing. See, what y'all really afraid is the aggression that you think Jay-Z is going to have to face or Cap is going to have to face. Be true to yourself, and guess what? Just relax. Stand in that bed all day. You're not relaxing. You're suppressing. Get out of the bed. Just relax. Just relax. The wave will carry you where you need to go. I'm Yolanda. I've been doing this, y'all, for 17 years. A little bit longer than that. I'm as DryerBuzz for 17 years, but I go way back. Breakfast is ready. I'm going to ask you guys to do me one more favor. And for a great shareable link, when I hit the stop button, you'll have some great share links. Please do hit that share button for me, and I will type up some hindsight and put in there as well. All right, one more favor. Here we go.
Go now to DryerBuzz.com and follow @DryerBuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.